The Harwich Mariners look to win their second straight game as they take on the Cotuit Kettleers on an overcast Tuesday evening. Good afternoon, fans. Tim Foley alongside my broadcast partner Colin Casey to kick off tonight's broadcast as the first pitch dealt in from Cam Schlittler misses away for a ball. Tonight is a big night for a number of reasons. Today as a whole a big day because today was not only the MLB amateur draft, which saw a number of Harwich Mariners as well as Cape Cod Baseball League players across the league get drafted. This also kicks off the second half of the season as the first three pitches from Schlittler all missing outside. So, Colin, to bring you into the broadcast here, I want to ask you, what have you really seen from this Harwich Mariners team so far as Schlittler throws ball four outside?
Well, what I have seen is a lot more offense and a lot more offensive consistency in the lineup. We know the pitching's been there all season long. It's great to see the offense start to pick things up. And one of the good things about this Mariners season, they've been so rock solid at home. Great to be home for a couple more games and try to keep that momentum going as they try to climb that Eastern Division standings.
And to lead them through the night, as mentioned, Cam Schlittler on the bump tonight for the Mariners. Walked the first batter he saw already in Jace Grady, showing bunt Brooks Baldwin, the right fielder today for the Kettleers, having just been drafted by the San Francisco Giants this past weekend. Still stepping in the lineup. 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. Let's run down the Cotuit Kettleers lineup. Jace Grady led off with a walk. Now we have Brooks Baldwin standing in. Andy Garcia bats third, the left fielder. The third baseman, Luke Gold, bats cleanup. The second baseman, Eric Brown, bats fifth. The first baseman, Nathan Martorella, bats sixth. The catcher, Ben Rice, bats seventh. The shortstop, Ryan Ritter, as the runner goes for second, and the ball gets into the outfield. Going for third is Jace Grady. Grady will get down to third safely as the throw from Tatum Levens missed the mark. So it's a free two bags for Grady.
Yeah, not exactly the best start for Schlittler and the Mariners defense. Great jump by Grady, as time is called. Great jump by Grady on the steal. Levens rushed the throw a little bit, and then it hit off of Zach Preisner's glove and trickled just enough away from the center fielder coming in to cover Chris Newell to allow Grady to move up to third. So definitely a good start for Mike Roberts and the Cotuit Kettleers.
It's a 1-2 count here to Brooks Baldwin. That pitch misses high and away. So Nathan Martorella, the first baseman, bats sixth. The catcher, Ben Rice, bats seventh. The shortstop, Ryan Ritter, bats eighth. And the designated hitter tonight, Brett Roberts, he'll bat ninth. It's a 2-2 count here to Baldwin. 2-2 pitch misses up high. Count now 3-2. Schlittler, having already walked Jace Grady, in danger of walking the second straight batter of the game so far. Ball's going to be sliced back. Pitch coming in at 90 miles an hour.
And you mentioned Baldwin, a special day yesterday, getting drafted by the San Francisco Giants. He went in the 15th round, 446th overall, one of 11 Cotuit Kettleers from the 2021 roster having their names called.
Swing and a miss. Got him swinging. Down goes Brooks Baldwin. Schlittler able to bounce back after a leadoff walk with first strikeout of the day. This will bring up the left fielder, Andy Garcia. Let's take a moment to run down the Harwich Mariners defense on the mound. Cam Schlittler doing the catching for him, Tatum Levens. The infield from first to third, Carter Putz, Max Codier, Zach Preisner, and Josh Hood. The outfield from left to right, Jake Lazaro, Chris Newell, and Jordan Beck. Had a flurry of changes before first pitch as we were under the impression that Jake Lazaro was just going to be DHing today for the Mariners, and that Ben Malgeri, the a recently drafted member of the Mariners, would be the left fielder, but instead Malgeri was scratched from the lineup, and Lazaro now stands in left. And Wilkin, who was not in the lineup, in the initial lineup we got, is now DHing in the 3 spot. So things have bounced around as the 2-0 pitch misses up high, count now 3-0.
Guerrero showing a lot of patience here. The Old Dominion teammate of Aaron Holiday, who had been drafted earlier today for the Harwich Mariners.
The 3-1 pitch finds its way in for a strike. So Guerrero currently up to bat.
Yeah, Guerrero, good job covering the outside part of the plate, but an even better job by Cam Schlittler fighting back. Of course, Schlittler, knowing a thing or two about his college teammate being drafted, being a teammate of Ben Malgeri's at Northeastern.
So Schlittler, full count here, trying not to walk his second batter of the game. And he will. Ball 4 outside. Jace Grady still stands on third. And Guerrero now stands on first.
And not the worst thing in the world with first and second open there, but we're already going to have an early mound visit as manager Steve Englert going out to talk to Schlittler. But not the worst thing in the world to have a walk there. It sets up the double play possibility now with 1 away. Problem is they have a dangerous hitter coming to the plate in Luke Gold. Gold, 261 on the season, but the big number for him, 3 home runs, and he leads the team with 14 RBI. So he knows how to get it done with runners in scoring position. And
he's second on the team in drawing walks with 7. So this is a guy who knows how to get on base. On base percentage sitting at about .397 on this season, now midway through. First pitch to Gold, finds its way in for a strike. And that's what you need to do if you're Schlittler. You need to get ahead in the count. Oh-2 count here. Luke Gold behind in the count now.
Looking like a good bounce back pitch right now.
Oh-2 pitch popped in the air, caught by the second baseman Codier. Two outs now in the inning.
Yeah, good job there to bounce back from Schlittler. You know, losing control early on with the couple of walks, it's never easy to bounce back, but he mixed in a strikeout in between the walks and didn't quite get the double play ball, but he'll certainly take that with Gold drawing a pop-up.
So now you have Eric Brown coming up to bat. And Schlittler gets ahead of him, 0-1.
Yeah, Brown, another teammate of a former Harwich Mariner. It's crazy, kind of the collegiate connection between these two rosters. Nick Lucky, also out of Coastal Carolina, so a couple of guys familiar with each other.
And this one's going to get him. So going down to first base now, Eric Brown. This will move Guerrero down to second. And still on third, waiting patiently, is Jace Grady.
Well, if the trends are indicative of how things are going, Schlittler will retire this next batter after walking the first batter he faced, then a strikeout, then another walk, got another out, puts a guy on with a hit-by pitch. So inconsistent start here from Cam Schlittler, but at the very least, the trends kind of favor the fact he's going to get out of this jam unscathed. First pitch just outside.
Time called. And the 1-0 pitch misses again. So a lot of balls early on in this one from Schlittler as he's having some difficulties here in the first inning.
Yeah, this Katuitt Kettleers team showing a lot of patience thus far, drawing 55 walks on the season and bringing that patience into this game against a pretty strong Mariners pitching staff. We've seen some really good starts from the M's this past week.
And that pitch again missing now, a 3-1 count, nowhere to put him.
Got to attack him here. Let's see if he can get a fastball over or try to bend in a breaking ball.
And he cannot. Third walk of the game from Cam Schlittler. That'll put Martorella on base, brings Grady home. Garriola now stands on third, Eric Brown on second.
Yeah, for Schlittler, just unable to find the zone right now. Tough to tell what's been going on with him, but not exactly the same control we've seen him show in his first couple of starts.
Ball's going to be popped up. Going out towards left, underneath it to make the catch is Jake Lazaro, and that will end the inning. Cam Schlittler does walk one home, so it's an early 1-0 lead for the Katuitt Kettleers. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back into White House Field as Tatum Levens takes the first pitch from the pitcher Dalton Rogers outside for a ball. 1-0 count. Rogers' his first start of the season for the Kettleers. Second pitch fired, also misses for a ball. Rogers, this is his first game as a Kettleer, coming out of Southern Miss. Now, Katuitt, they have had a number of guys drafted, largely the reason why you see a player coming in here midway through the season. Going to see that likely as well for the Mariners in a few days. We'll see perhaps who Harwich decides to bring in, as the Mariners did lose 8 guys who played on this year's team to the draft. Katuitt lost 11 guys, 4 of which were pitchers who are currently still on the roster, 3 of which position players. Tatum Levens does what he's been doing these past few weeks and laces a single into left field.
Yeah, just exactly what Levens has been doing all season long for the Harwich Mariners, setting the table at the top of the lineup. Remember, he started the season around that 6 and 7 spot, but all of a sudden he starts putting up some ridiculous on-base percentage numbers. They move him up to that leadoff spot, and he has just picked up where he's left off all season long. A really, really great leadoff hitter to have, even if he doesn't have the same speed as some of these other leadoff men in the Cape.
So now you have Chris Newell.
Ooh, that was a hot line drive that he just ripped past the Mariners dugout. Good to see everyone get out of the way of it.
Newell last night hit his first home run in a Mariners uniform, a 2-run shot, being hit back in the 7th inning. Drove himself and Tatum Levens home. The 0-1 pitch finds its way in for a called strike. 0-2 now.
That's now a 7-game hit streak, I believe, for Tatum Levens. Unbelievable stuff, including 3 multi-hit games during that span.
Ball hit on the ground, picked up by Ritter at short. Throw on to second. Throw on to first. Not in time. Pitch ended up being a bit late from Brown to Martorella at first.
Yeah, ball not hit all that hard, Tim, so at short, Ritter didn't have as much time as he would have liked to make, but he made a great throw. The turn was a little tough, though, from Brown at second, and a great job hustling down the line by Chris Newell to break up the double play and set the stage for the biggest power bat in the Mariners lineup in Brock Wilkin.
Brock Wilkin just recently being named the Cape Cod Baseball League Player of the Week for what he has been doing. Just to give you an idea, his past 5 games, Wilkin batting .353, 6 for 17 with 6 RBI, 2 home runs as well in that span. He's behind 0-1 to Rogers. 0-1 pitch misses down in at the feet. He'll step off. 1-1 now.
Wilkin, with the 17 RBIs, of course, also leading the team in that regard. Just an outstanding talent. We've said it all season long. Coming in as a freshman from Wake Forest, he has been so impressive in the CCBL.
1-1 pitch is going to miss down low. 2-1. He really has been. And then you remember that this is a guy who's just a freshman. I know we've mentioned it countless times, but to be able to come into the Cape League and perform the way he has really been phenomenal. You know, this is a guy that at least Harwich is certainly going to look to try to retain for his sophomore summer, perhaps, as the 3-1 count now.
Yeah, 11 of his 21 hits, or sorry, 10 of his 21 hits, so almost half have been extra bases this season.
3-1 pitch down in the dirt, and Wilkin will get on first.
That's the other number we haven't talked about, is patience. 11 walks now drawn on the season for Wilkin. So despite him being kind of known as a free swinger and taking some big cuts for the fences, he knows how to restrain himself and draw those walks in those important situations. And this is an important one here for Harwich after falling behind 1-0, trying to push one home and even the score.
Now you have a guy in Carter Putz. 4 for 18 across his last 5 games. Takes the first pitch for a called strike. Guy who got off to a hot start for the Mariners, but has cooled off a little bit over this past week. Chris Newell stands on second. He'll have to hurry back to the bag.
Yeah, average now at 280 for Carter Putz. So even with a couple of off games, he still finds himself way up there on the team in batting average. Power numbers still something he's looking to find. No home runs and just 3 doubles.
0-1 pitch, misses inside, 1-1.
And of course, also he'd like to cut back on the strikeouts, 15 Ks compared to just 7 walks.
And this really is a Harwich team that, save for, of course, Brock Wilkin, has not been the greatest at slugging this season. 1-1 pitch, pulled just past the glove of Luke Gold. Coming around third to score is going to be Chris Newell. Play at the plate, safe. Slid under the tag, and Harwich is able to respond in the bottom of the first with a run of their own.
Yeah, 2-run single for Carter Putz. That ball hit really hard. Luke Gold kind of froze on that one, wasn't sure exactly where to go with it. That'll happen when there's a ball hit that hard. So he tried picking it with his glove, couldn't come up with it. Carter Putz, huge play here to rip one and drive home the game-tying run.
And now, as there was a conversation on the mound in the first inning for Harwich, there was a conversation on the mound in the first inning for Cotuit, as both teams, starting pitchers, getting themselves into difficult situations to open up tonight's contest. Harwich coming into this game fresh off of a win last night against Chatham. That game, an 8-2 victory. Now stand at 8-7-2 on the season. Cotuit on the year, they are 9-8, fresh off of a 6-0 win over the Wareham Gatemen. So the standings look like this for the Cape League. In the East, you have Brewster at the top with 22 points, YD at 20. They're in second. Harwich is in third, sole possession of third place now with last night's win over Chatham. Orleans is in fourth at 16. Chatham's in fifth at 15. And for the West, Bourne at 27. Two-way tie between Wareham and Cotuit at 18. Falmouth a little bit behind at 14, and Hyannis very behind at 4. Now you have as the runners both go, double steal, ball gets away from Rice behind the plate. They'll be safe. Heading for third was Wilkin, and Carter Putz headed for second. And Rice let that one slip by his left side.
Good stuff there from the Mariners to pick up their pitcher right now in the bottom of this first inning. Aggressive on the base paths. They might have both been safe even if the ball didn't get away from the catcher, Ben Rice. So now 2 in scoring position, and a guy who's had a really nice past 24 hours in Josh Hood after being drafted by the Boston Red Sox earlier today.
Yes, that's right. The newest member of the Boston Red Sox. Perhaps not the newest. Wasn't drafted in the 20th round exactly, but one of the newer members, so to speak. 1-1 count now to him. And the double steal, the aggressiveness from Harwich, not something we're entirely used to seeing from them, as Hood will sky one up. Just coming out is Eric Brown. He'll make the catch in shallow right, not deep enough for the sac fly. So Wilkin stays on third, and Putz stays on second.
Yeah, a little bit of a missed opportunity there from Hood. Had he been able to get on top of it a little bit more, would have been deep enough out to Baldwin and right to bring home Wilkin, who's got some decent speed. But here's a redemption opportunity for Jordan Beck, who didn't exactly have the best of games last night. Struck out 3 times against Chatham.
And Beck, the other day, was holding on to a 5-game hit streak going into the game hosted last week against Chatham. He came in to pinch hit that game, did not get a hit. So he's looking to start a new streak here.
Yeah, he's currently 0 for 7 over his last 3 games.
Behind in the count, 0-1. Big cut, can't find it, 0-2.
And also the strikeout numbers have really been elevated there over those 3 games, 6 strikeouts. So hasn't exactly been putting the ball in play either. That would be a big step in the right direction, especially if he can bring home a couple of runs.
0-2 pitch. Can't find it upstairs. Dalton Rogers able to blow it by him at 92 miles an hour. So that will end the inning. One does come across for Harwich, however, they do tie things up. We move now to the top of the second. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back into White House Field. Ryan Ritter leading it off for Katuitt here in the top of the second inning. Ritter so far this season for Katuitt, batting .276, as he will pop one over to second base. A quick first out here in the top of the second.
And a much needed quick first out for Cam Schlittler. They're putting 3 guys on base via walk, also a hit by pitch. Kind of handing free base runners away to the Kettleers, but a great bounce back, drawing some bad contact there from Ritter. And who knows, if he can get a 1-2-3 inning, get this outing right back on track. We've seen it all season long. A couple of Harwich Mariners have a tough first inning, but they have done a nice job of bouncing back.
Swing and a miss on the first pitch as Brett Roberts tries to get his hacks in. If you're Schlittler, as this ball's fouled off, Schlittler ahead now 0-2. You have to be relieved that your team was able to come back for you in the bottom half of that first inning and get a run back for you, get this back to a tie game, give you some of your confidence back. 0-2 pitch, hit on the ground. Chopper over to second. Codier can't field it cleanly. So Roberts will reach first safely.
That'll be an error on Cody. Already the second of the game for the Mariners. Came in tied with Katuitt for the most errors in the CCBL with 23, and now steadily pulled ahead since then. The Mariners, though, 9th in fielding percentage at .961, just .001 ahead of the Kettleers. But with a couple of errors, that has certainly changed.
Most certainly. As it largely has been the middle infield that has been the point of contention here for the Mariners. First pitch dealt into Jace Grady is in for a strike. Grady last time around got on with a walk, ended up stealing second and got as far as third thanks to the errant throw from Tatum Levens down to the bag. Ended up getting into the outfield. 0-1 pitch is in for a called strike 2.
We've got 4 games total in action, a couple of teams off, including Chatham A's as they try to regroup.
Grady fouls off the 0-2. We'll do it again.
The other team with an off day, the Wareham Gatemen. But all 4 other games currently in action up and down the Cape.
Jace Grady, one of those new additions for the Kettleers. This is his first game in maroon as he takes the 0-2 pitch outside for a ball. Playing out of Dallas Baptist.
Got some surprising news to share with the audience as well as you, Tim, in just a moment.
It's a 1-2 pitch. This one flied away.
That surprising news is the fact that the Hyannis Harbor Hawks currently lead the Bourne Braves by a score of 1-0. That game is in the top of the 6th inning. So Hyannis looking to pick up win number 3 against the best team in the Cape.
Schlittler's got a 1-2 count. Brett Roberts stands on first. Reaching after it is Grady. Hood settles under it to make the catch. 2 away now in the second.
Good job by Schlittler to shake off the error. Something out of his control. Came right after Jace Grady. Draws another pop-up. He's been able to get weak contact when he's been attacking these hitters. It's just wasn't really attacking them early on in that first inning. Since then, he's starting to settle in and looking like the Cam Schlittler we've seen through the first couple of games in the Cape.
Now you have Brooks Baldwin, right fielder for the Kettleers, struck out looking last time. Going for second is Grady. Did not get him, says third base umpire Rick Emerson, who's shaded over towards second. So Brett Roberts is safe on second with a steal.
Yeah, just his second of the season, so he hasn't run a whole lot. Was caught once, so make it now 2 for 3 for Roberts.
To it perhaps liking their chances after what they've already seen from Levens behind the plate tonight. 0-1 pitch. Pulled right over towards Putz. Can't field it. Bounces off his glove. Roberts comes home to score. It's now a 2-1 game in favor of Cotuit. They get a run for the second straight inning.
Yeah, and I'll be ruled a hit for Baldwin. Sharply hit ball. Kind of similar to what Putz did last inning. Ripped it at the third baseman. This time it was ripped to Putz over at first. Went for the backhand. Couldn't get it cleanly, and it got too far away from Codier at second for any play to be made. Running on contact from second base. Easily scoring Roberts. Cotuit back out in front.
So that is the first hit of the day for Cotuit. It's fouled back. 0-2. Or 0-1, pardon.
Of course, the Mariners and the Kettleers squared off in the 2019 Cape League Championship with Cotuit coming out on top.
A 1 pitch misses inside, 1-1.
It's crazy to see a lot of those guys from both those teams having their names called over the last couple of days. Be interesting to see how each of their path to professional baseball differs.
1-1 pitch runs inside. 2-1.
With some guys, of course, being taken in some of the upper rounds, other guys getting taken later, but who knows how each career will pan out. Will definitely be a joy to watch out for.
2-2 pitch now, and that certainly is. It's, you know, coming from a smaller school myself, not something I've really ever had the pleasure of witnessing a player who I've gotten to cover going on and playing professional to really any extent. And so really cool feeling to be able to watch these guys who we get to cover day in, day out, get drafted, and one day perhaps get to watch them, not as a broadcaster, but as a fan, or I guess an art,
or both.
Or both,
yeah.
You know, as we're hoping down the line. Who knows in our own regard. Nonetheless, a 2-2 count here to Andy Garriola. Walked his last time around. Ball popped up, and that will go foul. Around, he had no idea where that thing ended up. Took a roll back towards the pitcher's mound off of his left shoulder. And so the errors keep on piling up here for the Mariners.
I think they actually might rule that one a hit because, it was just hit so hard. A lot of these baseballs have been rockets, and Hood did the right thing, got his body in front of it, but the ball just skyrocketed once it hit him, and I believe the right shoulder, or the left shoulder, I should say, went up in the air. He looked, couldn't find it. By the time he did, Garriola was standing on first.
So Harwich not getting a whole lot of 50-50 balls to this point in the game. Foul tip. And Schlittler ahead here, 0-1.
Yeah, Katuitt already well within their second time through the order. Gold getting another opportunity. Had a missed opportunity with a couple of runners on base and popping out, so dangerous hitter like him looking to make up for it and extend his team's lead.
A 1 pitch hit right on a line to Josh Hood. He'll make the catch this time around. One more does come across for Katuitt. Back-to-back innings with 1 run. Harwich going to look to respond in the bottom of the second. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back into White House Field. Jake Lazaro leading it off for Harwich, and in a similar sentiment to what we shared last inning, if you're Schlittler, you're glad your team was able to go back and tie this game up. Now if you're Dalton Rogers, after the inning you had, you're glad that your team was able to come back and put another run on the board and give you the lead once more.
Yeah, both teams shaky, both pitching-wise and defensively to start this game.
Already 2 errors from Harwich and a couple of bad breaks. A 1-1 count here to Lazaro. Lazaro out in left again. A hectic moment up here pregame as the lineups were changed after they were announced to the crowd here at White House Field. 2-1 count here to Lazaro, so he was going to be the DH. He's now the left fielder. Takes a 2-1 pitch inside, makes it 3-1.
Yeah, the Mariners looking to put the leadoff man on to begin the inning for the second straight inning to start this game. Good patience once again. Let's see if Lazaro can find a way on.
Rogers able to push the count full at 88. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Fouls it off towards the Harwich dugout. We'll do it again. Just 1 strikeout in that first inning for Rogers. He did walk 1. That was Brock Wilkin who was walked. And then, of course, Jordan Beck struck out to end the inning. Full count. Swing and a miss. Down goes Lazaro. Second straight strikeout from Dalton Rogers.
Yeah, challenging him with the fastball up and in. Lazaro chasing one out of the zone, and just one of those pitches on a payoff pitch. You're looking to protect anything, and just couldn't quite get his hands around a great fastball there from Rogers.
So this brings up the shortstop, Preisner. Stays off of a pitch there. Falls behind, 0-1. Preisner, oh, go ahead.
Now, just saying that he's drawn back in the lineup after getting yesterday off.
Ball in the dirt, 1-1. My point exactly. Got yesterday off against Chatham. Last played on the road against Brewster. Did get on base with a walk in that game. Otherwise went 0 for 2 batting out of the 8 spot. Here he is again in the 8 spot. He's ahead in the count, 2-1.
They're definitely looking to cut down on the strikeout numbers. He's struck out in each of the games he's played this season, at least since June 27th, with the exception of July 10th against Chatham.
3-1 count now. Rogers struggling to find the strike zone in this at-bat. He'll nod, looks towards home, and delivers. Skies one foul. Count now full.
Just 3 walks for Preisner this season as well. So discipline, I think, is the biggest thing that he can do to take his game to another level. We know he's got some pop in that bat, has a double this season, 7 for 40 thus far. But if he can get that vision improved as he faces more Cape League pitchers, he's going to be a solid player for the Mariners.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Third straight strikeout swinging for Dalton Rogers as he's starting to come into his own here. Threw across the last 3 outs.
Yeah, he'd been getting hit pretty hard to start the game. Had a couple of singles, including the rocket from Putz that brought home Chris Newell. But since then, he has settled down in a big way, carving through the back half of this Harwich lineup.
So that's 4 straight batters retired for Harwich. Last person to get on was Putz with that single. Codier looking to change the story. He's ahead in the count, up 1-0. Ball hit on the ground. Picked up by Ritter. Throw to first in time to record the out. 1, 2, 3, down they go. It'll be the top of the order next time around for the Mariners. But for now, we move to the top of the 3rd inning. Brown, Martorella, and Rice each due up for Katuitt. We'll bring you that in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to White House Field. Eric Brown leading off for the Kettleers. He'll He'll take first pitch outside for a ball, 1-0. Last time around, got hit by a pitch. And one of the first few pitches he saw, only got as far as second base. He'll take the 1-0 pitch out to left center field. Back to make the catch, Chris Newell. Able to pace back, running back to his right to make a lengthy first out.
Yeah, Brown put a good charge into that one, but it's a deep center field here at White House Field, even 400 to dead center. And it's not exactly a sharp cut back to the 330 sign. It's kind of a slow winding one. So there's a lot of space out in left center field. Newell doing a great job, knowing his outfield pretty well, makes a running catch.
So now you have Nathan Martorella. Got on with a walk his last at-bat. Only got as far as first. It's a 1-1 count now.
Schlittler looking to shake off an unearned run that came home in the top half of the second.
Hit on to Codier, throw to first. Easy out number 2 for Harwich.
Doing a nice job so far. I mean, even the run that came home, they were on plays that his team could have made. The 2 singles that went off the gloves of Putz and then also off the shoulder of Josh Hood, they were plays that could have been made but weren't. So that second inning really not on Schlittler. Kind of evens out after the first inning where he put 4 guys on base.
And one of those one of those runs that did come across the score, the one that came across in the second, got on with an error by Codier as he was unable to field it. The 0-1 pitch misses outside. 1-1 now to Ben Rice, who flew out to left to end the first inning. Big cut there, 1-2 now.
This would be huge if he can get through a 1-2-3 inning. Everyone kind of settles in, both the pitcher and the defense, and Mariners have certainly gotten their bats going pretty well.
Pitch on the outside, 2-2 now. Yeah, it will be that top of the lineup for Harwich that the first 4 were able to get on. The 2-2 skips in the dirt. Levens is able to keep his body in front of it. 3-2 count. Chases after it upstairs, but can't come down with anything. 1-2-3 inning. Down go the Kettleers. Harwich bats 2 up in the bottom of the third. It'll be Levens, Newell, and Wilkin. Don't go too far. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here in Harwich. Tatum Levens leading it off for the Mariners. Last time around, got on with a single to left as he has continued a streak of excellence recently for Harwich. While in the dirt, count opens up at 1-0. Recently for Levens, he has been the hottest bat in this lineup, batting .421 over the past 5 games. 8 hits on 19 at-bats, 1 RBI, 5 runs. So he's getting on and he's coming around in this leadoff spot, and Harwich really has found their leadoff guy after shaking up the lineup throughout most of this first half of the season.
And with numbers like that, you've got to assume he's probably the hottest hitter in the entire Cape League, the way things have been going for Tatum Levens.
2-1 pitch ends up missing. It's 3-1. Levens on base percentage currently sitting at .482. Gets on base nearly half of his plate appearances. As the 3-1 pitch finds a way in, 3-2.
It's be a big out if Rogers can get it, retiring the leadoff man once again, but retiring a leadoff guy like Levens, who has been so dangerous.
Levens fouls one back, and that took a bounce off of, I think, the umpire, but he just took that thing like a brick wall.
Yeah, it hit off of him, went straight over the backstop, so whether it was him or the catcher, neither of them flinched.
That's Joe Caraco, the statue behind home. 3-2 pitch. Levens thought he had it, but Caraco rang him up. Down looking goes Levens. That is the 4th strikeout for Dalton Rogers.
Yeah, got him on the outside corner there. Levens thought that one might have been outside, but credit to Rogers. Racking up 4 strikeouts the last 5 batters he's faced, really getting into a groove.
Take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. As Newell stands in now, got on first on a fielder's choice his last bat, ended up coming all the way around to score back in the first. 1 run so far tonight. YD leading the Whitecaps 5-4 in the top of the 8th over at Stony Brook. Hyannis still leading Bourne by a score of 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning. A 1-1 count now here to Newell. And the only other game going on this evening, Falmouth up 4-0 over Orleans. That game in the top of the 2nd inning. Ball gets away from Rogers as he pitches it low away in the dirt. Rice unable to reach after that. It's a 2-1 count now. Newell checks his swing. Now ahead 3-1 in the count.
Newell, another guy who's really been picking it up as of lately. Saw him hit his first home run of the season in Chatham late last night.
He'll send this one over towards second. Shading over is Brown. Throw on to first is in time to record the 2nd out of the inning.
Excellent range at second base there from Eric Brown. Having to go all the way to his left onto the outfield grass, making the play. I mean, talked about how Cotuit's defense has been kind of its undoing this season, but so far so good, especially from the middle infielders.
Yeah, Cotuit again coming into this game with the worst fielding percentage at .960. 23 errors, tied for most on the Cape this season with Harwich. Ball hit off of Brock Wilkin's own foot. He'll foul that one off.
And Tim, one thing I just remembered, it's good to see Wilkin back in the lineup. Remember he left the game in the top of the 9th yesterday after getting hit by a pitch. He was initially not in the lineup, but a late scratch for Ben Malgeri, he ends up drawing back into the lineup. So I wouldn't think he was 100% unless Englert was fine with putting him back in the lineup.
Certainly is good to see him back. You want to have his bat in the lineup anytime you're trying to win a baseball game, which is going to be every night here on the Cape. 1-1 count. And he'll hit a hot shot out to left, but right at the left fielder, Andy Garriola. That will end the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning from Dalton Rogers. He stays settled in after that shaky first. We move now to the top of the 4th. 2-1 Katuitt. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. First pitch into the new batter as we will pass it off. Play-by-play duties for the next 3 innings. My broadcast partner, Colin Casey.
Thank you, Tim. And just like that, second pitch of the inning is sent in the air out to center field. Chris Newell over to make the catch, and there is quickly one down as Ritter retired on just 2 pitches.
Yeah, pitching really settled in. Some efficiency over these past 2 innings for both teams.
So here is Brett Roberts, the designated hitter, reached on an error, came around to score to make it 2-1 in the top of the second. Also notched a steal while he's on the bases. Cam Schlittler misses with a breaking ball outside, 1-0. Pitch comes in and just misses, hitting Roberts. Jumps out of the way, count 2-0. Roberts, formerly out of Tennessee Tech, but is recently transferred to Florida State. Making a jump to one of those big-time schools in the ACC. The 3-0. And that will miss low for ball 4. So Cam Schlittler, after not walking anyone over the last 2 innings, just issued his 4th of the game here in the top of the 4th. So in steps Jace Grady for the 3rd time, drew a walk and came in to score Katuitt's other run. Top of the 1st inning, and popped out to 3rd in foul territory in the 2nd. Schlittler's first pitch sent in the air to the left side again. Hood reaching over, and he makes the catch! What a play! He tries tagging, the throw goes into right field, so Roberts is able to advance to second, a heads-up play. But what a remarkable catch by Josh Hood, reaching into the Mariners' dugout and taking away one from Jace Grady.
I mean, that's the kind of guy you want on your team. Hood, earlier in the game, had a tough bounce off his left shoulder. Didn't let that get him down. He hustles over, and he makes an attempt at a ball that was nearly out of his reach. You go after any ball that you think you have a chance on, and he was just able to track that thing down, reaching over. And his Mariners teammates in the dugout giving him a boost, making sure he doesn't go head over heels into the dugout.
So after that exciting out number 2, Brooks Baldwin has a runner in scoring position in Roberts. First pitch from Schlittler in the dirt. Great stop by Tatum Levins to keep it from going to the backstop.
Yeah, you mentioned it with the heads-up base running from Roberts. If you're going to have an out recorded against you like that, you at least better get something out of it. That's a tough fashion to be able to lose an out in this game, but nice job by Roberts, able to make it down to second, put himself in a better position to score.
1-0, hit off the end of the bat down the left field line. This one will make its way over the fence out of play. Baldwin struck out his first trip in the first, then singled in the second. Long look in by Schlittler. Glance back at second, the 1-1. Breaking ball just misses inside. The Mariners come in just 2 games back in the Eastern Division, but it's based on a points per game system, so not exactly indicative of how far back they are. The 2-1, fastball up and away. Brewster Whitecaps riding a 4-game win streak, looking to make it 5 in a row tonight, but they'll have to come back late, running out of time and daylight at Stony Brook, trailing 5-4 to the YD Red Sox. Schlittler's 3-1, fouled straight back. That'll fill the count. Two runs on 2 hits, no errors thus far for Katuitt. Just the 1 run on 2 hits and 2 pretty big errors committed by the Mariners defense. Back to the box is Baldwin, the recent draft pick. Schlittler, another glance at second, the pitch. Runner going, the ball sent high in the air, out towards second. Zach Preisner taking steps in. He's under it, makes the catch, and the inning is over. So despite a 1-out walk, Cam Schlittler able to bounce back and keep the Kettleers scoreless. We're through 3.5 from White House Field. Katuitt 2, Harwich 1. You're watching Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to White House Field, heading to the home half of the 4th in this matchup between the Harwich Mariners and the Katuitt Kettleers. Fans, Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, including new majors in sport and recreation management, graphic design, marketing, and computer science. Online at www.curry.edu. Head to the home half of the 4th, Colin Casey alongside Tim Foley. New pitcher to tell you about, it is Shadden Peavyhouse, who the Mariners saw earlier this season here at White House Field. Dalton Rogers departs after 3 innings, giving up 1 earned run on 2 hits, through 1 walk while striking out 4. So Peavyhouse coming in with 3 appearances thus far, 3 2/3 innings pitched out of Coastal Carolina, a 4.91 earned run average. He'll face the middle of the Mariners lineup. Carter Putz, Josh Hood, and Jordan Beck due up for the M's.
Yeah, and it was a successful outing, you could say, for Peavyhouse's last time out. Pitched just 1 inning, surrendered a hit, but he did strike out 2 of the batters that he faced. So, a guy who, at least in that one instance, was able to get the better of the Mariners' bats.
So here's Putz. Drove in the Mariners' lone run in the first inning via single to left. Hits another one to the left side. Tough play by Ritter. The backhand throw is in time. Excellent throw by Ryan Ritter, going all the way to his right, deep in the hole at short. He retires Putz for the first out of the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, tough to believe this is a Cotuit team that has been at the bottom of the league in regards to fielding percentage. They've looked excellent through the first 4 1/3 innings to this point, or 3 1/3.
Here's Josh Hood, popped out to second. Recent Boston Red Sox draftee. First pitch from Peavy House to him on the outside part of the plate, called for a strike. The 0-1 on the outside part of the plate. Good location so far from Peavy House.
Yeah, really nice pitch. 84 on the outside part of the plate. Hood just watched it go.
Peavy House giving up a pair of runs in his first appearance against the Bourne Braves, but since then, 2 scoreless appearances, including a save against the Falmouth Commodores just a couple of days ago on July 11th. So slowly but surely gaining the trust of manager Mike Roberts. The 0-2 in the dirt, check swing. The appeal down to first base umpire Rick Capitelli says that Hood held up 1-2. Joe Caraco behind home plate and Rick Emerson at third, the umpiring crew tonight. On a very overcast, once again, day of baseball at White House Field. The 1-2 skips in the dirt.
Yeah, it's just been a string of foggy days here in Harwich. I mean, against YD last Thursday, it was rather foggy for the Nessing game, and then today, rather foggy as well.
2-2 misses outside. Yeah, even for the Nessing game, we had a consistent mist throughout that one. Good to see that there hasn't really been any wet weather over the last few games, and as of now, fingers crossed, the forecast over the next several days appears it'll be dry up and down the Cape. The 3-2, chopped on the ground to third, currently a fair ball. It will roll, and it is smartly picked up by Luke Gold in foul territory. The count remains full.
Yeah, good patience. Looked for a little while that ball was going to stay fair. It was just staying to the right of that third base line. Ultimately, does end up drifting just left. So Hood will have to step back in.
Base is empty, 1 out. Peavy House with the 3-2. Chopper, and it hits Hood in the box, foul. Peavy House looking to make it back-to-back outs to start his outing. The pitch, breaking ball hit high in the air, off to the left. That will carry out of play. Last night, the Mariners, of course, with the 8-2 victory over the Chatham Anglers to improve to 3-0 against Chatham on the season. Most notably, big-time power surge from the Mariners lineup with home runs from Brock Wilkin, Press Kavanaugh, and Chris Newell. Each of them 2-run shots. The 3-2 swung on and missed. Josh Hood goes down swinging. First strikeout for Shad and Peavy House out of the bullpen. There are now 2 down here in the home half of the fourth.
And these Harwich bats have been quiet ever since that first inning where you had a single from Levins, a single from Putz, and then, of course, Newell and Wilkin each getting on as well. But beyond that, it's been the last 10 batters retired for Harwich.
10 in a row set down between Rogers and Peavy House. Jordan Beck looking to end that dry spell. He's behind 0-1. Beck struck out swinging his first time up. Right-handed hitting right fielder out of the University of Tennessee. teammate Drew Gilbert, currently playing for Team USA. Gilbert initially slotted to come to Harwich, but currently fulfilling that prior commitment with Team USA. 1-1 count, 1-1 pitch, I should say, misses down and in. Mariners had 3 guys join Team USA in 2019. None on their active roster went this year, as there's a check swing hit up the middle on the ground. Eric Brown fields it. The throw is in time to get Beck and end the inning. Mariners have now gone 11 batters without reaching base. They now trail 2-1 going into the 5th inning. You're watching Harwich Mariners baseball on the Mariners YouTube network. Fifth inning from Harwich, where the Mariners trail the Katuitt Kettleers by a score of 2-1. We appreciate you tuning in on this cloudy Tuesday night from the Cape. Cam Schlittler's day is done. He goes 4 innings, surrendering 2 hits, 2 runs, just 1 earned. Walked 4 and hit 1 batter while striking out 2, and he will be relieved by Bo Keithley. Keithley coming into this appearance out of the University of Cincinnati. This will be his 3rd game this season. He's gone 5 innings total, surrendered 4 runs, 2 of them earned, has not walked anyone yet, struck out 6 batters, all for an ERA of 3.60.
And Keithley, a guy we haven't actually seen in over a week. His last appearance, a 3-inning outing on the 4th of July at Stony Brook. So we'll see how he's looking over a week removed from his last appearance.
It's been a full 9 days since he's been in action. We'll see if he shows any signs of rust, but it's certainly been trending in the right direction. Finally, we'll get that opportunity. Of course, Keithley's teammate at Cincinnati, Evan Shawver, drafted this weekend. Left-hander who pitched 2 scoreless starts for the Mariners. That one's over for a strike. Well, when I say scoreless, I should say 2 starts in which he was just outstanding, because he did end up giving up an unearned run that led to the loss against the Orleans Firebirds. Andy Garriola, the batter, is currently drawn a 1-1 count. He's reached base each of his 2 times to the plate. The 1-1. Fastball misses down and away. That fastball for Keithley in the high 80s, that last one at 88. The 2-1, showing off that submarine delivery, but having trouble finding the plate.
Yeah, still just getting a feel for it out there. His first batter faced in over a week.
3-1 to Garriola, misses inside, so not the start that Keithley was looking for. He puts Garriola on via walk. 3rd time that the Old Dominion left fielder has reached base, and the leadoff man is on for Katuitt to begin the 5th. I'll bring up Luke Gold, who just hasn't had much success against the Mariners this season. He's still hitless through, I believe that's now 6 at-bats against the M's. Of course, all those games both of those games now coming here at White House Field. First pitch to Gold is a strike. Had a game scheduled at Cotuit last week. Washed out. The 0-1 hit on the ground towards short. A dive just under the glove of Preisner into center field. Garriola up to second. And Gold moves ahead to first. So 2 on and nobody out for the Kettleers.
It's a nice piece of hitting. You mentioned it. Luke Gold was 0 for 6 against Harwich. He finally had his number called and was able to make a hit. A nice piece of hitting from Gold, able to sneak that by what is typically a good glove from Preisner. Not a whole lot he can do there, as he had a pretty good jump on it, full extension, trying to reach it, but just not able to catch up to it.
Eric Brown, the great opportunity to extend his team's lead. 2 on, nobody out. Brown has been swinging a very hot bat of late. Comes in with a 5-game hit streak. He shows bunt, pulls it back, but it's a called strike. In fact, he homered in yesterday's game at Spillane Field in a 6-0 victory for the Kettleers against the Wareham Gatemen. Being his 3rd home run of 2021. He shows bunt. Did he offer on that one? No, he pulled it back last second, 1-1. Brown out of Bossier City, Louisiana. At Coastal Carolina currently, so a teammate of Shadden Peavyhouse. Keithley's 1-1 bunt shown again. It's on the outside corner for a strike. So Brown having a little bit of trouble covering that outer half, trying to get a bunt down. Of course, ideally he's trying to get down the third baseline. Is Josh Hood not playing too shallow. Although he did back up with the count now 1-2. The pitch, Brown able to spoil it. Mariners enjoying back-to-back home games. They'll be hosting Orleans for the for the second time, hopefully the first one that counts, tomorrow night at 6:30. Had one rained out that will not be made up against the Firebirds. The 1-2 is a towering fly ball out to left field. That sends Lazaro back. Does have room, makes the catch for out number 1. Both runners retreat to their respective bases, and a big out number 1 for Bo Keithley.
Yeah, loud 1-2 is a good contact off the bat from Brown, but fortunately for Keithley, able to stay in the ballpark. Lazaro making his way over, plenty of room to make the catch. And now with 1 out, if you're Harwich, maybe you look for a double play ball here, or if you're Keithley, you just try and overpower these guys and strike them out.
Batter is first baseman Nathan Martorella. Keithley's first pitch has him out in front. Martorella out of California. Brought home a run via bases loaded walk in the first inning. Then grounded out to second in the third. A look at second, the 0-1. Off speed over for a strike. Keithley really pounding the zone after issuing that leadoff walk.
Yeah, it's good to see getting ahead in the count like this, 0-2. Still looking for his first strikeout.
Working from the stretch, the 0-2. Just off the inside part of the plate. Levins tried to frame it, but no dice. Martorella coming into today's game hitting .261. The 1-2. That one misses way inside.
If you're Schlittler, you're ahead in the count 0-2. You got to make these, or pardon me, Keithley, you got to make these pitches tough to lay off of. It's been pretty easy looking for Martorella, determining whether or not he wants to swing.
Trying to get him to chase the 2-2. Does it again, but great patience from Martorella draws the count full.
Yeah, that one, a bit of a better attempt on the outside part of the plate, but still just a bit too far outside to really bait a guy into trying to swing after it.
Payoff pitch just misses inside for ball 4. Keithley staring at that one. Not getting the call from home plate umpire Joe Caraco, and that will load the bases with one down for Ben Rice.
That's just unfortunate if you're Keithley. You're ahead in the count 0-2. You went after him on those first 2 pitches, but then you throw 4 straight balls to load the bases now with just 1 out. Not a good situation here.
First pitch to Rice is swung on and missed for strike 1. He is 0 for 2. Flew out and struck out his first 2 times up. Rice, another guy who was recently drafted in the 12th round by the New York Yankees. The 0-1. Line drive sinking into center. A lunging catch is made by Newell. The throw will hold the runners. Chris Newell has been playing some outstanding defense over the last couple of games in center for the Mariners, and he most certainly just saved a run with a big out number 2.
Yeah, he had a diving catch last night to record a big out, and then just there, didn't dive per se, but had a pretty good jump on that ball to be able to come in and make the grab at a low angle. So Newell in a great defensive play there. Like you said, Colin, keeps a run off the board.
Bases loaded, 2 down for Ryan Ritter, who chops 1 foul. Ritter 0 for 2 with pop out and a fly out. Both teams coming into this game 3rd in their respective divisions. Keithley with the 0-1, and it's fouled off to the right. Got another 0-2 count. He's had a ton of them so far, but hasn't been able to put away guys via the strikeout just yet.
This would be a pretty big first strikeout here.
Righty against righty. The 0-2. Breaking ball just misses low and outside.
Something I want to note real quick. Chris Newell out in center field was waving his arms around, I believe as if to get the attention of his dugout, because right a moment later he started shading towards the right, so he wasn't exactly sure of the defensive shift on this at-bat.
Making sure he's in the right spot. The 1-2 misses outside.
And here it is again for Keithley. You get ahead 0-2, but you play around with your food a bit too much here. As walked the last guy on, or not the last guy, pardon, walked Martorella on 4 straight balls, and now here you are, count even after being ahead 0-2.
Ritter with a great chance in this top of the 5th. 2-2 misses outside, and that'll give the runners a head start with a full count and 2 down.
This pitch has got to be over the plate, whether or not it's hit by Ritter or not. You have to go over the plate on this one. You can't afford to give a guy another free base.
Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. What a huge strikeout for Bo Keithley as he gets Ritter to chase out of the zone. Once again, the Katuitt Kettleers leave the bases loaded, unable to bring any runs home. We head to the home half of the 5th, Katuitt 2, Harwich 1. You're watching Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Home half of inning number 5 set to begin. Halfway through this one, Mariners trailing 2-1, looking to keep that home win streak going. They trail against the Katuitt Kettleers, and so far, it's been a story of walks setting up Katuitt to have big innings, and haven't exactly taken advantage of it, Tim, at least to the fullest extent.
No, they haven't really to this point. It's been quiet going for Harwich across these past few innings up at bat.
And neither team really jumping on these opportunities, but for Harwich especially, been set down each of the last 11 batters has Katuitt pitching done. First pitch to Jake Lazaro to lead off the inning as a strike. Lazaro came in to pinch run for Brock Wilkin in the 9th inning yesterday. And he rips this one up the middle, and that's through for a base hit. Jake Lazaro kicking things off with a single, and that will snap that hitting drought for the Mariners, tying run on base to begin the 5th.
Well, there you go. You get the leadoff guy on. And now you have Preisner coming up, another guy who's trying to get out of a funk.
Quick scoreboard update. The game has gone final out in Brewster. The 4-game winning streak has been snapped for the Whitecaps as they fall to the visiting YD Red Sox 5-4 in 8 innings. They called that one due to darkness. Runner going as Preisner takes a big rip and fouls it off to make it 0-1. And the Hyannis Harborhawks, who did lead 1-0, now trail 2-1 in the top of the 8th. Still some time left, but you got to wonder what the chances are that they're going to be able to put up some more runs here, given not just with Hyannis struggles, but how great the Bourne pitching has been all season long. It really is an uphill battle for any team going against Bourne, as there's a quick pick off back with a dive as Lazaro.
Yeah, I mean, you have to see sometimes, anytime in a late game situation, you're going to have a game go one way or the other, but certainly with the way Bourne's been playing, tough to flip any kind of game on them late.
Shadden Peavy House from the stretch, the 0-1. Misses inside to Preisner, who struck out his first trip. No, it actually glanced off him. They'll send him down to first base, and just like that, the Mariners put 2 guys on with nobody out for Max Codier.
Yeah, that was the call from home plate umpire Joe Caraco, actually, who was able to tell that ball had just breezed off of, I think it got the jersey. It really did not look like much, but just caught enough of it that Caraco said head down to first. So big break for the Mariners after they really weren't getting a whole lot of breaks through the first few innings.
So the M's threatening. First and second, nobody out. Max Codier grounded out his first time up to short. Peavy House bluffs home and bluffs the pick off to second, I should say. Only other game in action on the Cape is in the 4th out at Eldridge Park in Orleans. Visiting Falmouth Commodores hold a 5-3 lead over the Firebirds. Be a huge opportunity tonight for the Mariners to pick up some ground as Codier shows bunt, pulls it back, pitch misses outside.
Yeah, because especially considering that YD Brewster game, of course, both teams ahead of you, but Brewster by more points. So if you are going to pull for one team, YD winning in that situation does benefit you if you're the Mariners. Keep that gap between where you are in first place, where it's at.
Yeah, that pulls YD even with Brewster at 22 points this season. The bunt from Codier trickles foul. So the Mariners can pull within 1 game in point total. They're able to pick up a win here tonight. Not only that, Orleans loses, gets some breathing room between 3rd and 4th.
And then a chance to open that gap between 3rd and 4th even more tomorrow when you bring in Orleans.
Right.
And this is really starting to matter. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast, we are in the second half of the season in regards to games that should have been played.
1-1. Pulled back again by Codier, 2-1.
Of course, a couple rainouts through the first half. Harwich, this is only game 18 for them in what should have been game 21, but with potential rainouts in the second half, this really should be looked at as the point in the season where teams really need to assess what it is they have and kind of figure out where to go down the stretch.
Especially with the draft being completed. Not any drastic changes coming anymore. This is who you got, really, for the rest of the season. 2-1, a pickoff move, a pretty good tag from Brown, but Lazaro's back with a dive, and he slowly climbs back to his feet.
Yeah, that was a nice pickoff attempt on the part of Brown receiving it, as he didn't take a moment to stop and then apply the tag. He kind of dove his body and then caught the ball mid-motion to the ground.
Time is called. We're going to have a discussion between Codier and third base coach for the Mariners. Very quick one.
Yeah, quick one in the middle of an at-bat. Don't see that all too often.
The count's still 2-1. Mariners trailing by 1. Tying run on second. Go ahead run at first. Left-handed hitting Codier out of the University of Virginia. Big spot. Showing bunt, the 2-1. Pulls back, 3-1. You wonder if he'll show it again or might just completely have the take sign.
Yeah, perhaps that's what the conversation was over at third between Codier and third base coach Mark Tebow.
Oh boy, Bourne adds 2 more. They now lead 4-1. Wheels coming off for the Harbor Hawks once again. Feel like a broken record over the last 2 summers. PV House from the stretch, the 3-1. Misses outside, ball 4. And so Shadden PV House has put 3 runners aboard. And the bases are loaded with nobody out for Tatum Levens.
There's a few guys in this Harwich lineup you'd want to come up to bat in this moment. And Tatum Levens, right now, with the way he's been playing, is right at the top of that list. No outs, bases loaded. Now you have a pitching change, it looks, coming for Katuitt.
Yep, that'll be it for PV House, who's responsible for all 3 runners on base. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back. You're watching Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the 5th from White House Field, Colin Casey, Tim Foley. Mariners trail 2-1, but they have the bases loaded with nobody out. Tatum Levens coming to the plate, and he will face the new pitcher, Joseph Geig, out of Boston College, the right-hander, looking to put out the fire that was set by Shad and Peavyhouse, allowing a single to Jake Lazaro, hitting Zach Preisner with a pitch, and then walking Max Codier to load the bases here in the bottom of the 5th.
This is a huge chance for Harwich. You need to come away. I'm certain that head coach Steve Engler for the Mariners, and really this entire Mariners lineup, should want to get at least 2 runs out of this situation. You should expect to be in the lead after this inning. No outs. You have the top of the lineup coming in. And each of these guys who have all gotten on base once today, this is a moment where you need to be able to perform. Beginning of the season, you could perhaps give a pass. Guys still figuring things out. No, these guys have shown they've figured it out to this point. So now it's about having the stuff to be able to perform in a big moment like this. Levens, Newell, and Wilkin, each guys, assuming all 3 of them come up, no double play opportunities arise for Katuitt, should be driving runs across here for Harwich.
So Levens digs in. And the junior from Lynn, Massachusetts, out of Boston College, in a big spot. Geeg. Been really reliable all season for Katuitt in a big spot. First pitch misses up and away to Levens. Tatum Levens singled in the first, struck out looking in the 3rd. Infield in for the Kettleers, trying to get the force out at home and get the lead runner. The 1-0, fastball over for a strike. Be interesting to see Levens' approach. Remember, he wasn't too happy after being rung up on a 3-2 pitch in the 3rd inning on one they thought looked outside.
Yeah, you remember those. Keep a chip on your shoulder. And expect him to have a bit of an attitude in this at-bat.
The 1-1. Breaking ball up and in.
Of course, channeling that energy in a good way, being able to take a pitch that's up high like that. There's a lot of ways you can have a productive at-bat, and so far, we'll see how it ends up.
2-1. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 2. Levens, 5 runs batted in on the season. So hasn't exactly had a lot of RBIs, and that'll happen as a leadoff hitter. Not exactly as many chances as some of your teammates. Drove in 3 on a home run here at White House Field about a week and a half ago. Doesn't need a long ball here to, at the very least, tie things up.
Yeah, any ball into the outfield will help bring home Lazaro at 3rd.
2-2 is chopped foul, fought off the breaking ball.
Good defense there at the plate by Levens. Have a pitch coming in. You might not like it, but you've already mentally committed to the swing, so just being able to put it off and stay alive is important.
Geeg comes set, the 2-2. Check swing, Levens able to hold up, and the count is now full.
This guy is a tough out, Tatum Levens. Of course, that ball well in the dirt, but it's also about what the pitcher in Gee feels comfortable throwing with a guy like Levens. It's that presence that helps force that pitch in the dirt.
Payoff pitch. Misses outside, ball 4, and in comes the tying run. Lazaro in to score. Tatum Levens drawing a bases-loaded walk. We are now tied 2-2 at White House Field.
Just valuable at-bat after valuable at-bat if you're Tatum Levens. We mentioned it earlier, his on-base percentage sitting at .482. I mean, that is just absurd, and he's gotten on base twice so far today. A nice job done by him there to be patient in that at-bat.
Things going from bad to worse for Katuitt. Bases loaded, still nobody out in a tie ball game. First pitch, Newell swings and misses for strike 1.
You know, if you're Harwich, you're happy, you got the game tied, but you're not done yet. Newell, you still expect him to have a productive at-bat here and try to bring somebody around.
Geeg trying to get back on track. The 0-1. Big swing, and that'll do the trick. It's got Newell down 0-2. Newell 6'3", 205, so big zone to pitch to. He's looking to continue a 5-game hit streak with one that would bring home a run at the very least. The 0-2 swung on and swung on and fouled off to stay alive.
And that run is charged to Peavy House.
Still responsible for both runners in scoring position as well, with Preisner at third, Cody at second, and then Geig responsible for Tatum Levens at first. His 0-2, swing and a miss, big punch out as he gets Newell to swing through the fastball. Out number 1 for the Kettleers. But the danger certainly not past as in steps Brock Wilkin. Wilkin, of course, has a grand slam on the season. Game against Chatham here at White House Field in the first inning of that game, an 11-6 win for the M's. He also homered last night in the first inning against the Anglers. First pitch, misses outside.
That pitch looked like it got away from Geig. Nice job by Rice behind the plate, as he may have been crossed up, but he was still able to reach over his right to stop that ball. If that gets away, then it's a run coming home. That's runners moving up 90 feet.
Infield still in. Breaking ball on the outside corner. So Mike Roberts not even thinking about trying to turn an inning-ending double play. Still wants to get that force out at home. Preisner has decent speed, so it might be a little bit of a challenge on a slowly hit ball. 1-1 to Wilkin. Breaking ball in the dirt. It gets away from Rice, and the go-ahead run is in. Preisner touches home. Mariners on top 3-2.
Yeah, Harwich finally getting some breaks their way. Rice, he did a good job earlier in the at-bat to save a run, but only so much you can do there as that one skipped in the dirt well before him. Tough to stay in front of it, but that's what you have to do in that situation, and just could not stay in front of it. So lucky break for Harwich, now 2 in without having to do a whole lot of work, really.
Levens now standing on second, Codier on third. Infield still in, the 2-1. Fastball up and away to Wilkin.
Yeah, Geig's just been his own worst enemy this inning. He did give up the leadoff single against Jake Lazaro, but he has since then hit one batter, walked 2, and then that pitch in the dirt, bringing in another run.
The 3-1. Fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Wilkin thought he had ball 4. It's now a full count to the Wake Forest rising sophomore. Carter putts, waiting in the on-deck circle. Wilkin with an opportunity to extend the Mariners' lead with 2 home in the inning. 3-2. Misses inside, ball 4, and the bases are once again loaded for Harwich. Patience paying off at the plate for the M's. They draw their 3rd walk of the inning. And you wonder if we might see some action once again in the Cotuit bullpen.
It's been a combination because you brought in Geig after a tough start to the inning from Peavy House. So pardon me, one of those, the hit pitch and the single were from Peavy House. So it's really been the Cotuit pitching as a collective this inning that's been its own worst enemy. But even still, Geig in his own right now walked 2 batters.
First pitch to Carter putts, swung on and fouled off. With 2 home in the inning and the Mariners on top, that puts Shad and Peavy House on the hook for the loss. It's also still responsible for Codier at third. All 3 of those would be earned runs charged to Peavy House. From the stretch, the 0-1. Skipped in, Rice keeping it in front of him. It's already the 7th batter of the inning for Harwich, and still just 1 out.
Of course, with Wilkin now on first, that does bring back the double play threat.
1-1 up and away, but again, Tim, no interest really for the Kettleers infield. They're looking to get the runner at the plate with the infield in on the grass.
Yeah, they really are playing on that lip of the grass, trying to keep this a close game.
Putts out of Notre Dame. The 2-1. Fights off a fastball. He's upset with himself. He knew he got a good pitch to hit. Must have been sitting off speed. Harwich 6-2 at home this season. Losses only to Bourne and YD. And really, really good at their home park. The 2-2 on the outside corner, strike 3. Putts can't believe it. A huge punch out for Joseph Geeg. And the Katuitt Kettleers 1 out away from getting out of this nightmare inning.
Yeah, that is a really big strikeout because that allows your infield to get back to their normal depth. They expect just a play to first will get it done now. So now you have to have a base hit if you're Josh Hood, who currently 0 for 2 on the day.
Popped out in the first, struck out swinging in the 4th. First pitch to Hood, he swings away and flares it down the right field line, foul.
Ended up landing in that Kettleer bullpen, and nobody warming right now after what's been a bit of a shaky appearance here from Geeg.
Yeah, he's had some control issues, but all things considered, hasn't given up an earned run yet. 0-1 breaking ball lined into left field, a base hit for Hood. Coming in to score is Codier, following right behind is Levins. It's a 2-run single for newly drafted Josh Hood. The Mariners lead it 5-2.
Just an excellent job there by Hood. You come in, you're 0 for 2 already on the day, but you keep your head down. You have a really nice swing to pull one out to left, and this is the kind of inning that Harwich was waiting for. You know, you get the bases loaded. First 3 guys each got on, and the top of the lineup really took it from there. 2 walks and a single from the next 5 guys to get up thereafter. Really nice job by Harwich capitalizing on the opportunity that was put in front of them.
At a mound visit, Mike Roberts out to talk to his pitcher, Geeg, who has now has 1 run charged him. The book officially closes on Shadden Pevios, who went 1+ inning, only gave up 1 hit, but is charged with 3 earned runs, walked 1, hit 1, and struck out 1 batter. So Jordan Beck will have Brock Wilkin at second and Josh Hood at first once this meeting at the mound concludes. And take this time to remind you that this game is presented by Milton Cat for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines. Visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of tonight's game. So Jordan Beck will dig into the box 0 for 2. He's now 0 for his last 9. So he'll try to break out of that slump in a big way and help pad this Mariners lead, which has grown to 3. Something about the offense just seems to be better and better at home for Harwich. It's a bluff over at second. Granted, it's been pretty good at every single ballpark they've been to over the last week, putting up a lot of runs, supporting their pitching staff. Geeg's first pitch is fouled off.
Yeah, looking at the splits for home and away, Harwich 44 runs in 8 games at home, not counting today. 29 runs in games played on the road across 9 on the road. So certainly they're able to get it going a bit better when you have the comforts of home. Typically tends to be the case, but it really feels like Harwich, it's night and day with when they're home and away.
That includes a couple of shutouts on the road, falling to the Whitecaps at Stony Brook Field. Big swing by Beck. He can't come up with it, 0-2.
And alternatively, that's something that they have yet to do to a team. Yet to shut a team out, whether it be home or away.
That will continue for at least another game. Wilkin leads off second, Hood off first. Geeg looks in, and he comes set. 0-2 to Beck. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Geeg finally able to get his team out of the inning, but not before Harwich puts up 4 runs and jumps way out into the lead. We're through 5 from White House Field. Mariners 5, Kettleers 2. You're watching Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. To the 6th we go from White House Field. Mariners on top 5-2 over the visiting Katuitt Kettleers. And Tim, talk a lot about the draft throughout this broadcast, but it's also All-Star Weekend in the MLB. Home Run Derby was last night. Pete Alonso coming home with the hardware. But the big story was the runner-up. Trey Mancini, former Harwich Mariner, was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in March of 2020. His cancer is now in remission. He fought through it, missing the 2020 season. Returns with the Baltimore Orioles. He's had a solid season. Gets a chance to perform in the Home Run Derby, and perform he certainly did. What a very inspiring performance from Mancini, a former Harwich Mariner.
Certainly was. Cancer, any form it comes in, is a disease that has destroyed a lot of lives, careers. Really, you hear about it almost every direction you turn. So to hear a feel-good story like that, where you have Mancini put up an excellent performance in the Home Run Derby.
First pitch by Bo Keithley is sent on the ground to third. Nice play from Josh Hood, and the throw gets Brett Roberts to begin the 6th inning.
Yeah, just to wrap that up, just really, I don't know, you can't overstate how impressive it is to watch that, how admirable it is, inspiring. So many superlatives, really.
Now, there's been a number of incredible stories like that in Major League Baseball. Another that comes to mind that certainly hits close to home here in New England, John Lester, as a rookie in 2007. First pitch, breaking ball, misses into Jace Grady. Of course, Lester going on to winning that World Series in 2007 with the Red Sox, as well as another in 2013 in which he was the ace of that starting pitching staff. 1-0, just misses outside. 2-0 to Grady. He's popped out each of his last 2 times up. This one stays on the ground. Preisner throw on to first in timing. Efficient start to the 6th inning for Bo Keithley. 2 up, 2 down.
That's exactly what you need because of how that fifth inning went. First 2 guys got on, and the bases ended up getting loaded. Luckily, nobody came home. Keithley was able to manage the situation well, and off to a good start here in the 6th.
Certainly looking a lot more composed. than we saw in that first inning of work in the fifth. But it's clear that him being able to work out a bases-loaded situation gave his team some momentum, as there's a beautifully placed bunt by Brooks Baldwin, but well fielded by Keithley, and the throw is in time. How about that inning from Bo Keithley? He gets Katuitt down 1-2-3 on 3 groundouts. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Harwich leads 5-2. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Home half of inning number 6 from Harwich. Mariners on top, 5-2. And once again, it has happened for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. They fall again. 5-1 the final. Bourne picks up another win, continuing to extend their lead in the Western Division. And right now, the Mariners doing Bourne a big favor, Tim. We could see a playoff spot clinched relatively soon at this rate, the way the Bourne Braves have been playing this year.
Yeah, they've just been picking up win after win after win, and the rest of the West is kind of meandering around that 500 mark. And so certainly for Bourne, of course, we'll have to see what the magic number is as it gets down to it. Not sure how the point percentage affects the way things work in regards to making the playoffs. So that'll be an interesting factor when it comes to actually clinching a spot, something we'll have to keep an eye on across these final few weeks this season.
It certainly helps that they are by far the team with the least amount of losses this year with 2. The next closest, a tie between the YD Red Sox and the Brewster Whitecaps, although I don't know if that is updated. I think it has, so both of those teams now with 6 losses after Brewster fell today. In to lead things off for the Mariners, Jake Lazaro, who led off last inning with a single. He came around to score what was then the tying run. He lays down a bunt. It's a good one down the third baseline, well fielded by Geig, but he's going to have to eat it. A bunt single for Lazaro. He's now 2 for 3. And what a job by the 7-hitter Lazaro in this outing so far, the left fielder from Liberty.
Yeah, great outing so far for the left fielder. Being able to come in, go 2 for 3, came around to score, of course, at the towards the beginning of that 5th inning after getting on base, and now starting it off the exact same way they did last inning, where you get the leadoff guy on, and Preisner, he got hit by a pitch last time around. Not sure he's looking to replicate that per se, but certainly still going to look to get on base.
Lazaro had 2 hits all season coming in, and today he has since doubled that. First pitch in the dirt, Rice able to backhand it. Preisner, as you mentioned, Tim, last time up, hit by a pitch, but he did come around to score the go-ahead run on a wild pitch. Eight of the 9 Mariners in the starting 9 have reached base with the exception of Jordan Beck. 1-0. Ground ball to second. This could be 2. The flip to Ritter for 1 on to first. And it is 4-6-3 double play. Much needed twin killing for Katuitt. Bases are now empty, 2 away in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, definitely getting a better break this time around after allowing the leadoff guy to get on. You're able to instead record a double play instead of allowing another base runner. Katuitt in better shape this inning, and you really are going to have to be locked down the rest of this game if you want to give your bats a chance to come back. 3-run deficit heading into these final few innings.
In steps the 9-hitter Max Codier, 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. First pitch on the outside corner, strike 1. Geig certainly looking more comfortable not having to come into a bases-loaded situation to start the inning. course, gave up the bunt single, but quickly bounced back with the double play. And here's another ground ball over to second. Brown has it, and the throw is in time. So, Geig able to face the minimum, retires the Mariners rather quickly here in the 6th. We head to the 7th, Harwich 5, Katuitt 2. You're watching Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. To the 7th from White House Field, Harwich looking to win another home game. They're on top 5-2 in the final 3 innings of play-by-play. Here is Tim Foley.
Thank you, Colin. It'll be for the Kettleers, Garriola, Gold, and Brown due up. Garriola, he's reached base each of his first 3 at-bats. We'll see him in just a moment as Keithley continues to get warmed up here. But another game for Harwich so far where they find themselves having a big inning and getting out in front. And it's something we've gotten more used to across these past few games if you're Harwich.
We certainly have a lot more consistency at the plate and a lot more opportunistic hitting. They've been taking advantage of the opportunities that opposing pitching has given them. Saw that there in that 5th inning where they dropped 4 runs. And now if you're Katuitt, they got to bounce back. And it looks like we're going to see how long it takes for Mike Roberts to really go into his bench, but nothing so far. Heart of the lineup due up, no surprise to see him not make a move.
So as mentioned before, Garriola's gotten on 3 times, 2 of which were by walk. In fact, he was the first batter to face off against Bo Keithley, and he did take that walk. Check down to Rick Capitelli over at first. He did not go. Count opens up at 1-0. Garriola also walked back in the first, had a single in the second. 1-0 pitch, pulled foul down the third base line.
And Tim, this is the area of the lineup where Keithley struggled to begin his outing in the 5th inning. Garriola reaching Gold, picking up a single, and then a couple batters later, Nathan Martorella also getting on base. So we'll see if Keithley might have learned something this time around and pitching with a little bit more confidence and a little bit more precision.
1-0 pitch misses away. It's going to be a 2-0 count. Two-one pitch misses, 3-1.
I don't want to put the leadoff man on, especially Garriola, who's been consistently getting on base. Walks, despite the 5-2 lead, certainly an issue for Harwich pitching today.
Able to find the strike zone, count now 3-2.
4 walks for Schlittler in the start, and then a pair of walks so far for Keithley, looking to avoid number 3.
He's also looking for his second strikeout of this appearance. He'll take a step back. Payoff pitch, fouled off. We'll do it again. Keithley now in line for the win. Should Harwich be able to hold on. Fouled off down the third base side. Once more, we will do it again.
And as of right now, there's no action in the bullpen, so you wonder how much further he could go. Maybe something similar to what we saw yesterday with Dalton Smith going several innings to wrap up the game. This will be a little bit longer, having to go 5 innings rather than 3 2/3.
Ball chopped on the ground once again, fouled down that third base side, except this time around happened to go off the foot of the batter, Guerrero, so he'll take a lap.
Yeah, that one will never feel good. Right off the inside part of the foot. Umpire making sure to give him as much time as he needs to get comfortable, especially with a big payoff pitch coming.
3-2 pitch. This one hit on the line over the head of Preisner. Picked up out in left. It's a leadoff single for Andy Guerrero.
Yeah, credit to Guerrero. He's been by far the most consistent batter in this Kettleers lineup today. A pair of walks and now a pair of singles. Really seeing the ball well in that 3-hole.
This will bring up Luke Gold, 1 for 3 on the day. Singled back in the 5th inning in his last at-bat. Trying to keep it rolling here if you're Katuitt. They have not had that many stretches of offense. Of course, the first 2 innings were rather chaotic, but only 1 run came across in each of those innings. Gold falls behind in the count, 0-1.
And one more shout out, it being All-Star Weekend. A big credit to former Harwich Mariner Kevin Gausman with a huge bounce-back season with the San Francisco Giants. One of the cooler stories of guys making the All-Star team this year.
1-1 pitch. Misses on the inside. 2-1 now.
Gausman, of course, the former Baltimore Oriole. 30 years of age, having a really rejuvenated season. 1.73 ERA.
Nice pitch from Keithley, 76, just sneaking on the inside part of the plate. Count goes to 2-2.
His first appearance in the All-Star game, so really, really good stuff.
Fly ball, foul. Count is 2-2, and that's something that we'll, of course, be keeping an eye on in the years to come, is these Mariners who we are watching now, seeing where they will end up. Of course, the Home Run Derby final, a Cape Cod League matchup between, you have, of course, Mancini with Harwich, but Pete Alonso, former Born Brave. 2-2 pitch, fouled off once more. Some lengthy at-bats from these Kettleers to open up this inning. We'll do it again, 2-2.
Yeah, really great to see a couple of guys that played on these very diamonds going at it in Coors Field. And, yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about Mancini, rightfully so, a really great story, but Pete Alonso was something else last night. I mean, I don't know if any hitter that ever lived could have been as good as he was yesterday.
2-2 pitch just missing outside. Count runs full here, 3-2.
And it was an important one for him because, remember, he's still on his rookie deal. Hasn't been able to go to arbitration yet, so he's still making in the ballpark of $500,000, $600,000. And he won $1 million for winning that home run derby.
Was in it for the money. The 3-2 pitch, foul it off.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were kind of wondering why he looked like he was taking it so seriously. Well, that's it right there. He had a chance to more than double his contract of this year. And the good news, though, is he'll be able to sit down and pick out a reasonable raise for this upcoming year as he is arbitration eligible for this offseason.
The payoff pitch, fouled back. And again, we will try again. Luke Gold fouling off a lot he's seeing. Guerrero did a similar thing, and we saw a lengthy at-bat last night from Press Kavanaugh where he eventually sent one off into the night as he finally got a pitch he liked, and that's the whole idea here. We'll see if Gold gets something he likes. 3-2, foul it off once again. We will try it once more. This has been a long at-bat here for Gold. He's fouled off the last 5 pitches. This is pitch number 10 of the at-bat coming up.
Really stingy one.
Stop me if you've heard this one, Colin. We'll do it again.
Remember what happened last night for the Mariners? A long at-bat from Press Kavanaugh eventually led to a good pitch to hit, and he drove it over the right field wall. So really making Keithley earn it here. Maybe he'll get a pitch to hit and do the same.
3-2 down, swinging goes Gold. Nice job by Bo Keithley to hang in there and finally get the payoff pitch to blow by the batter in Gold. This will bring up Eric Brown.
Yeah, good job winning that battle. Second straight at-bat that he had been taken to a full count. Served up a hit to Guerrero this time, able to win that battle. Confidence looking really strong on Bo Keithley here tonight.
And that is the second strikeout recorded by Keithley. We will have a conversation on the mound here with the pitching coach, Steve Gruenberg. So this is currently Keithley. He's made it through 2 1/3 to this point. He's given up 2 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts as well. For Keithley, he's currently trying to match his longest outing of the season. Had those 3 innings, again, just over a week ago at Brewster. 3 innings pitched, gave up a run, 3 hits, struck out 5. It's just 2 1/3 through so far. Not as good as that performance, you could argue, because he has walked batters for the first time this season here tonight. But hanging in there. A couple of tough at-bats, did give up the single to Guerrero, but a really nice strikeout after a lengthy at-bat for Keithley, and that's got to feel good. That's got to be a confidence builder if you're Keithley, to be able to battle back after a lengthy at-bat and finally sit him down. Now you have Eric Brown. He's 0 for 2. He's also been hit by a pitch so far in this one.
Yeah, give a lot of credit to Keithley. Since that 5th inning, he has retired 6 of the last 7 batters he has faced, including a pair of strikeouts.
Ball chopped foul, count 1-1.
Do have a lefty warming in the pen for the Harwich Mariners, and it's Danny Wilkinson. Remember, last time he appeared in a game was that lightning-delayed game down at Spillane Field against Wareham, where he'd given up the then go-ahead run before the Mariners rallied to draw a tie.
Time called here by Brown. He'll take a moment, step back out of the batter's box, reset. Keithley takes a peek over his left shoulder at first, stares into home, and delivers. In for a called strike at 77 miles an hour. Not the greatest velocity on that one, but with that sort of side delivery he's got, it's really difficult to get a read on it. And that one, you just kind of want to look at if you're Brown, try to get an understanding of how it works. But with Keithley, the way he's able to operate, he's got a couple different releases as the 1-2's fouled off by Brown. Of course, on that called strike, Keithley had more of a sidearm submarine, if you will. But then that last pitch there that was just fouled off looked more of a 3/4 released. So he's really giving these batters different looks so far across his appearance tonight.
Very reminiscent of former Harwich Mariner Antonio Menendez, who had his name called today by the Tampa Bay Rays.
1-2 pitch. In the dirt, Levens has to scramble after it. Count goes to 2-2. And that one's going to get him on the rear end. Eric Brown will walk to first. That'll advance Andy Guerrero as well. Second time tonight that Brown has been hit by a pitch.
That's been a painful one for Eric Brown, but got to find your way on base any way you can, and with the tying run coming to the plate, looks like Steve Englert's going to make a move.
We'll see who he goes to. in just a moment. We'll try to get you the pitcher before we go to a break. The pitcher working his way onto the mound now. So Keithley is responsible for the guys each on first and second base. That will be the day for him. We'll give you his final line once the inning concludes, and it is Danny Wilkinson, the lefty out of Villanova, currently on the mound. We'll take a break here as Wilkinson gets warmed up, but don't go too far. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back into White House Field. Again, Danny Wilkinson on the mound for the Mariners. Bo Keithley responsible for the runners on first and second base. Only one out in the top of the seventh inning. It's been a couple of long innings tonight for Katuitt. They've had 6 batters or more come up to bat in 3 of the 6 completed innings so far, but only 2 runs have come across for the Kettleers in this one.
And they haven't exactly taken advantage of the base runners put on by the opposing pitching like the Mariners have done. That big 5th inning, the difference.
First pitch, hit on the ground to Codier, throw to second, on for 2. They got him. Double play turned by the infield. Codier to Preisner to Putz. Write it down, 4-6-3. Harwich gets out of the inning without giving up a run. We'll see you in the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tatum Levens to lead things off for the Mariners. Bottom of the 7th inning. Levens so far tonight. 1 for 2 with a walk. Came across the score in that big 5th inning for the Mariners that saw them put 4 across home plate. It was the last run to come across. First pitch he sees is in for a called strike 1.
Some more good news for Mariners fans. Falmouth has extended their lead over the Orleans Firebirds. They now are on top 9-4, that game in the 6th.
Levens skies one out to center field. Grady underneath it to make the catch. One away in the 7th.
Just seems like any ball hit out towards center field gets lost out there. I'm trying to think back to the home runs we've seen hit to center. Only one I can think of actually came between these two teams in 2019. Pat Winkle, in Game 1 of that playoff series, hit a mammoth home run into the trees over the center field wall. Just so hard to get one out in that deep 400-foot fence to dead center.
Yeah, everything does seem to hang up out there. First pitch, Chris Newell sees. Blows right by him at 92. He's behind 0-1.
Of course, there'll never be anything on the old Polo Grounds. Dead center there, 483 feet, former home of the New York Giants, now the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, tough to beat that. Of course, Orleans certainly giving them a run for their money with how deep center field is out there. Ball skips away from Rice. Count evens out at 1-1.
Yeah, that's the deepest. That'd be the deepest park in terms of center field in, I believe, all of Major League Baseball. Remember, it was 436 to dead center at Minute Maid Park before they took the hill out.
Ball fouled away, 1-2. That was always interesting they even had that to begin with.
Yeah, but then they considerably shortened the distance from the center field wall to home plate. I mean, I think they brought it down. I want to say it's somewhere in the 410s now, but that taking that hill out really kind of closed in that center field where a lot of balls were lost.
1-2 pitch misses high and away at 92 miles an hour. Count will even out now, 2-2.
But most of those parks that have the deep center fields kind of make up for it with the left and right field being a lot shorter, especially the Polo Grounds with it being kind of an extreme situation.
Newell hits the second throw on to first is in time to record the second out of the inning.
Geek has really calmed down since coming in and struggling to put out that fire left before him by Peavy House. But since that inning ended in the 5th, he's faced the minimum, faced 5 batters, retired them all. Big double play that he got Preisner to ground into, and it's looking like a brand new pitcher at this point.
Yeah, certainly has cruised along a bit more as the bullpen is empty. There are some Kettleers doing calisthenics in the bullpen, but beyond that, not too much action. First pitch to Brock Wilkin misses high and away at 92.
Yeah, Wilkin, not the night we've been accustomed to seeing from him, with him either smoking home runs, ripping doubles, pair of walks. So showing off his patient side tonight.
Takes a big hack at that one, 1-1, and you'll see that from these power hitters. Big numbers when it comes to extra base hits, slugging percentage, all that. But then you'll also see high walk numbers because they're able to get pitchers to pitch away from them. A lot of guys don't want to leave it over the plate and be known as just another name to give up a home run to Brock Wilkin, as Wilkin hits one softly to short. In fact, it's the third baseman in Luke Gold who comes over to pick it up. Throws over to first, and the throw was well off the mark, allowing Wilkin to be safe. And if you're Gold, I understand the logic there, where you think that you're charging at it, you're going to have more momentum if you're heading towards that first base bag. But even still, he's charging a bit to the left, which makes it tough to throw it back across his body to the right. So even still, despite the charge and momentum you have, I still, that's a ball I'd leave for Ryan Ritter every time.
Yeah, one way or the other, it's a tough play whether you're coming in from third or short. But like you mentioned, a throw across your body, never easy. And Wilkin, good job hustling out for the single.
0-1 pitch, or that makes it an 0-1 count, pardon me. So now you have Wilkin on first with an infield single. No error on the play. Katuitt errorless coming into tonight. Tied for the most in the league with this Harwich team. Each of them have come in with 23. And the Mariners have kept their trend of errors rolling tonight. 2 on the board. Carter puts. He's behind in the count here, 0-2. He'll spoil that one off, defending the plate. Count now 0-2, still.
Tim, I thought the home run derby was last night, but apparently I was wrong. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the All-Star game just hit a ball 470 feet out of Coors Field.
That's what'll happen when there's very little oxygen keeping that ball in the ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
But even still, always fun to see those numbers, and even still, not an easy thing to do as Carter putts, flies one out to right, catch is made, and that will end the inning. So a single for Brock Wilkin, but not much else going for Harwich. We head to the top of the 8th where Katuitt, they're going to look to try and climb back into this one. They're down to their final 6 outs. We'll be back in just a minute. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. It'll be the catcher from Dartmouth, Ben Rice, leading off. First pitch he sees is in for a called strike. Danny Wilkinson still on the mound for Harwich. Came in relief of Bo Keithley after Keithley went 2 1/3. He did walk, or he hit the first batter he saw, Brown, and then was able to walk have Martorella hit into a double play. He's ahead in the count, 0-2. Chopped off. Count stays 0-2.
Yeah, Rice, one of those local guys from Cohasset, Massachusetts. He attended Dartmouth, of course, was drafted this weekend by the New York Yankees.
Ball skips in the dirt. Levin's able to keep a shoulder in front of it. Nobody on the base paths. Should it have gotten away from him? Count will move to 1-2. 1-2 pitch misses outside, and this is something that we saw earlier in this game, I believe from Keithley, as Wilkinson was ahead in the count here, 0-2, and now counts evened up 2-2. In called strike 3. Rice can't believe it. Looked to be a pretty good pitch at 91 miles an hour. That will sit down Ben Rice.
Yeah, it looked like it was right on that corner. Placed it perfectly. He was able to strike out the 2020 Futures League MVP with a fastball.
So now you have Ryan Ritter, 0 for 3 tonight. Takes a big hack there. Falls behind 0-1. He's popped out to second, flew out to center, and struck out swinging his last at-bat in the 5th inning. The 0-1 pitch. Another big cut, this time on 80 miles an hour. Couldn't slow down to let that one come to him. He's now behind in the count, 0-2. 0-2 pitch, wave and a miss from Ryan Ritter. Second straight strikeout from Danny Wilkinson.
I think we should start having the conversation that this Harwich Mariners bullpen might be the most reliable in all of the CCBL. No matter who they trot out there on any given night, they know how to get outs. We saw Dalton Smith do it yesterday, especially the left-handers out of this bullpen. Dalton Smith yesterday. Right now, Danny Wilkinson finally finding a rhythm.
Owen Cody, another one of those guys.
Yep.
Throws lefty out of pen. And that's something for Harwich where we talked a little bit about how they lost a couple of their position players as this ball's fouled off. Count goes to 1-1. Lost a few position players when it comes to who they lost in the draft this year, but when it comes to pitching, it's a different story. Did not lose all that much. Of course, Carson Seymour going, if you're Harwich. Aaron Holiday as well. But by and large, this bullpen is intact, and they are looking scary across these past few games for Harwich. Time called here by the batter, Roberts. Roberts reached on an error back in the 2nd inning. Reached on a walk in the 4th and grounded out to 3rd back in the 6th. So still looking for his first hit, but he has been on base and has come around to score once already.
And with 2 away in the inning, all you're looking to do right now is get on base any way you can.
2-1 pitch is in for a called strike at 91 miles an hour. 2-2. A big wave and a miss there from Roberts. Throw down to first in time to record the out. 1-2-3, down they go. Looking, swinging, and on a dropped strike 3. We move now to the bottom of the 8th inning. Mariners going to look to add on a few insurance runs before taking to the field to try and record the final 3 outs. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. bottom of the 8th inning here at White House Field. Josh Hood will lead it off, member of NC State. We'll see him, Beck, and Lazaro in this inning for the Mariners. This part of the lineup has been doing all right. Hood 1 for 3, Beck 0 for 3, Lazaro 2 for 3. Evens out to about 3 for 9. To exactly 3 for 9. And new pitcher on the mound for the Kettleers, Hamilton Oliver. Oliver, he has faced the Mariners already once this season. Pitched 2 complete innings back on that previous matchup on July 2nd. Gave up 2 hits, 3 walks, hit a batter, struck out 2, and allowed 5 runs, each of them earned. First pitch to the batter, Hood, is a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, Oliver really struggling since his first outing of the year against Orleans. Pitch, that one missing, and that'll prompt a visit from his catcher, Ben Rice. But that 3-inning outing against Orleans, he was great. Gave up 1 run, but it wasn't earned on 2 hits. Since then, been a completely different story. Over the last 2 1/3 innings he's pitched, he's given up 8 earned runs, including his last appearance, which came against Harwich, where he gave up 5 earned.
Conversation still being had between the catcher Rice and his slinger. It's a 2-0 count here facing Josh Hood. Harwich with the 3-run lead, largely in part to that 5th inning. Hood gets a piece of one here, sends it out to left. See ya! Josh Hood. The leadoff man sending one off into the night over the left field fence, extends this Mariners lead to 4. Now a 6-2 game.
I mean, this has got to be one of the better days of Josh Hood's life. He gets drafted earlier this afternoon by the Boston Red Sox, comes in, drives in a huge 2-run single in the 5th inning, and just launches a liner over the left field fence to pad his team's lead. Going to be one of those days he is not going to forget anytime soon.
So for Josh Hood, that's his first home run of the season. It's his 5th RBI. And first pitch to Jordan Beck gets away from him. It's a 1-0 count.
And that's now 3 guys for Harwich over the last 2 games hitting their first home run of the season.
Beck's going to get a piece of this one. Sends it out to right. It does hang up. And the out is recorded by Brooks Baldwin out in right. That is an 0 for 4 day for Jordan Beck. This will bring up Jake Lazaro, having a notably better day, 2 for 3. He's come around to score once. Got on to lead off both the 5th and 6th innings. Did, of course, end up being thrown out on that double play back in the 6th.
Got a mound visit here. Mike Roberts out to talk to his pitcher. I think just a quick discussion. I mean, the ball he gave up to Beck wasn't exactly the one that Hood hit over the fence, but it was still hit pretty well. So I think he wants to just calm him down and say, hey, try to nibble on these corners and keep the ball out from over the plate, because these Mariners bats have been just red hot lately.
First pitch into Lazaro. Skips in the dirt at 68 miles an hour. Next pitch in at 79, in for a called strike.
That was the 14th home run as a team for Harwich this season.
Came into today tied for 6th in the league in home runs. now the sole possessors of 6, barring any. As that pitch ended up being overturned, it's now a 1-2 count now after the ball ended up missing. He did go around. Time called here. Lazaro will step out. So, of course, barring any home runs hit in any other games tonight. Unsure of those numbers at the moment.
Yeah, I'll definitely check on that. But all I know is home runs have been coming aplenty lately for Harwich.
Ball down in the dirt. Just picked up by Rice. Count 2-2.
Score still holding at 9-4 out at Eldridge Park. That game now in the 7th inning. So a great chance here if the Mariners hang on in the 9th inning to pick up some ground on multiple teams in the East.
2-2 pitch. Got him looking. Lazaro can't believe it. Just picking that outside corner. Lazaro will take a walk back to the dugout. Also bring up Zach Preisner.
Yeah, for Preisner trying to get back in the right direction. He had that double play ball in the 6th inning. But not exactly his worst night. He was hit by a pitch, came around to score in that big 5th inning for Harwich.
First pitch into Preisner. Floats into the strike zone at 66 miles an hour. Talk about a changeup.
Really taking some speed off of that one.
Oh, 1 pitch outside at 84. Bit of a faster look that time. 18 miles an hour faster. Count now evens out at 1-1. Called strike 2 as that one crossed the heart of the plate.
Nobody really warming up in the Mariners bullpen. The football's getting tossed around, but nothing happening at this point. I think that's Aaron McKeithen out there throwing it around, the catcher, who is another guy who got his name called today.
St. Louis Cardinals. As we'll see just how much longer some of these guys who got drafted stick around. Of course, we mentioned Hood. We'll see what he decides to do. This ball hammered out into left, diving, no! Garriola cannot make the catch. So Preisner able to reach base for the 2nd time today. Does so with a hit.
Yeah, big uppercut swing there from Preisner and just rips it out to left field. A great effort by Garriola. Got a good jump on the ball, got his glove on it, just couldn't squeeze it. And that will go in the books as the Mariners' 8th hit of the night.
Oliver looking for the final out of the inning. He's given up a solo shot to Josh Hood. Then had Jordan Beck fly out to right. Jake Lazaro then struck out looking. And now Zach Preisner stands on first with that liner into left. First pitch that is seen by Max Codier. Misses for a ball, ball 1.
I think if the Mariners win this game, they'll also be the most games above 500 they've been all season at 2.
They certainly have been playing their best baseball as of late. I believe across their last 9, they are 5-2-2, trying to improve that here tonight. Look to get to 6-2-2, of course. Called strike 1.
Yeah, they had been playing a lot of 500 baseball up until the last couple of games, and they've started to turn those games that they had been losing by, small margins into games they've been winning pretty handily, which is a great sign going forward for this team.
1-1 pitch is fouled off to left. Catch is made by Andy Garriola. That will end the inning. We move now to the top of the 9th. Harwich will look to hold on to this 4-run lead that they now have thanks to the solo shot from Josh Hood. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Final 3 outs for the Kettleers. It'll be the 1-2-3 batters due up for them. Danny Wilkinson still on the mound. Jace Grady takes the first pitch he sees, rocks it out to left field. Goodbye. Leadoff home run on the first pitch seen by Jace Grady. And that's the way you want to start the inning if you're Katuitt. 1 pitch, 1 run.
And not the way you want to start the inning if you're Danny Wilkinson. He's had a little bit of issues giving up the long ball and just leaves one over the plate. Grady, not fooled one bit, takes a big rip and sends that one deep into the night over the left field fence. That's Grady's first home run because he's in his first game here tonight. So talk about a debut.
Yeah, second time he's come around to score. Got on with a walk back in the first inning to open up the game. First pitch to the new batter in Brooks Baldwin is a ball. Baldwin 1 for 4 tonight, singled back in the second. Pops this one up, playable. Wilkinson settles under it. Hood comes in, and it's Hood who ultimately reaches up and makes the grab. 1 away.
We talked about Hood's day at the plate with, of course, the 2-run single, the solo home run. What we're forgetting is the amazing catch he made in the second inning, leaning over and falling into the dugout to make an outstanding catch. I think it was actually the 4th inning where he made that play, where he leaned over the railing and made a heck of a catch down the third base line.
That was back when it was still a 1-run ball game, so important to be able to record outs like that any way you can. Allow your team to get it going at the plate. Generate momentum through defense like that. In fact, it wasn't that following bottom half of the inning, but then the bottom of the 5th, Harwich really turned it on and started driving guys around the bases. So you hang in there, and eventually things start going your way. It's an 0-1 count here to Baldwin. Ball skips up and actually takes a hop right back in our direction. So 1-1 count.
Winning this one would go to Bo Keithley if the score holds. And Danny Wilkinson would actually pick up a save because he came into the game with the Mariners up 3 runs.
Big cut from Baldwin. Or pardon me, it's Garriola currently at bat. 2 for 2 today with 2 walks. Excuse me.
He's reached base all 4 times. Impressive game for Katuitt's 3-hitter.
And this one will be skied up unplayable beyond that first base side.
Seen some insurance action going on in the Mariners bullpen. Owen Cody is starting to get loose. I don't know if he's throwing just yet, but just as a precaution.
Owen Cody, a guy who has down goes Guerrero, swinging. Big cut from the righty. Can't find any of it. This will bring up Luke Gold. Kettleers down to their final out.
An outstanding breaking ball. So much movement on that pitch. Just drops almost 1.5 feet down to the shins. No chance for Guerrero.
So that is the 4th strikeout of the day for Danny Wilkinson. Had 3 to retire the side in the 8th inning. He's ahead on the batter, Luke Gold, 0-1. Ball in the dirt. He did go, says home plate umpire Joe Caraco. That'll put the count well in Wilkinson's favor, 0-2. Ball hit rather sharply down that third base side, foul.
Yeah, big crowd gathering now in the Mariners bullpen as they're kind of just getting ready to go congratulate their teammates on the victory, but still got to get one more strike.
0-2, fouled off once more.
Hopefully they got a couple of guys down there with gloves on to make sure nothing comes up and gets any of those pitchers.
I believe I see one in the front with a glove on. The 0-2 pitch. Down in the dirt, 1-2. Wilkinson, he's had a couple fouled off against him in this at-bat. Tries offering something lower. Ends up missing 1-2 now. Gold put up a pretty good at-bat last time up against. And down he goes. That is the ball game. Mariners win it 6-3. Wilkinson strikes out 5 batters in his relief appearance to end the game. A nice performance by Wilkinson once again. A 6-3 victory for the Mariners. Colin, final thoughts before we pause to take a quick break and then give you the breakdown of this one.
Another great home victory for the Mariners. They got it done at the plate. All it took was one big 5th inning where they brought home 4 runs. Something about home where they fall behind early but are able to come back. Whatever the case may be, they improved to 7-2 at White House Field. Things really going well over the last week for the Harwich Mariners.
So once again, that'll do it. We'll take a brief pause to collect our numbers and give you a recap of this one. Thanks for watching. We'll be back in just a minute. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back here, Mariners post-game. Final score, Mariners 6, Kettleers 3. Winning pitcher tonight, Bo Keithley. He was able to get it done over 2 1/3 innings of relief. Struck out 2. Cam Schlittler, the starter for the Mariners today, pitched 4 complete innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, neither of which were earned. Walked 4, struck out 2, and Danny Wilkinson over the final 2 2/3, able to pick up the save, giving up just the 1 solo shot in the top of the 9th inning. And he did strike out 5 in that effort. A fantastic effort from him coming in relief. For Katuitt, The loss goes to Shadden Peavyhouse. Pitched an inning plus, gave up 1 hit, 3 runs, all of them earned. Walked 1, struck out 1. Big day for Josh Hood. Drafted to the Red Sox and then went 2 for 4 with a home run. Next game up for the Mariners. They'll be home tomorrow against the Firebirds of Orleans. 6:30 start time. We'll catch you there for that one. That will do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching. For my broadcast partner, Colin Casey, this is Tim Foley. Once again, we'll see you tomorrow night against Orleans. 6:30 start time. Have a good one.